Hello, hello, and welcome to Decaf, a production of the Beacon Center of Tennessee. Taylor and Mark joining you once again on a beautiful Tennessee morning. But by the time you're listening to this, it is going to feel like hell has moved to earth once again. But Mark, I got to tell you, I know that you and Kira and Sloan, y'all are a walking family. Have you enjoyed your hot girl walks this week? Because I can tell you, I absolutely have. I've been walking. Blake lives downtown in the downtown area, and we have been walking everywhere because it's been so nice.
Yeah, so I think that the issue I have is that it was supposed to be super nice Tuesday and Wednesday, right? Those are the days. And I kept hearing everyone say it was supposed to be really nice. And then I go out, I'm like, it's like, I think I just overestimated. Like, I know it's nice comparatively, but it was still like 83 degrees and sunny. And I'm like, it's better than it has been. But I think it's just been so bad. Anything under like 85 is nice to people.
Yes, I will take better than it has been. We walked to the Gulch for dinner the other night. We were walking back at like
Where'd you
8:30.
go?
We just went to Turnip Truck and got sushi and cans of wine and sat outside and like ate sushi and drank cans of wine at Turnip Truck. I don't know. I was starving, but we had just worked out. And so I was like, okay, you can't go to Sunda like this. And so it was Turnip Truck and wine outside, sitting outside of their little tables. It was so lovely.
That's like bougie trashy. Like, I don't know how to say it. It's like how bougie people are trashy.
Exactly, 100%. We just went in Turnip Truck, got 4 rolls of sushi and 2 cans of wine, and just sat outside and had a little grocery store date. And honestly, it was a vibe. It was really nice.
That's funny because it's such a classy type of food. The wine's trashy, but it's a classy establishment in a nice area. It feels like the 40 ouncer in a parking lot in a bag, but for classy people.
But for classy people. And that's exactly what we did. In our sweaty exercise clothes, we're contemplating doing the Titans 5K this weekend. We'll see if we actually end up signing up for it. But we were like, we were prepping for that. And then I just had a mass craving for sushi, and we weren't dressed for Sunda. But all that to say, we walked home at like 8:30, and I was actually like a little cold walking home because of the breeze. That's the thing, is when the sun goes down, flawless. No notes. It's perfect.
It's like past 8 and before like 6:30 a.m. is when it's great.
Yes. And that's when we take our hot girl walks, and we love to see it.
I don't like calling it that. I will not refer to it as that. Just walks.
Okay, well, I will. Speaking of taking hot girl walks, Nashville, a few years ago, if you've been following us for a while, you know that Nashville Metro Council passed a sidewalk ordinance years ago requiring private people to build sidewalks in front of their homes. Now, listen, or pay into the fund. Sorry. So they could either build a sidewalk in front of new construction on their own at their expense, or pay into a fund, whatever like the government deemed equivalent of the sidewalk would be. Now, I'll be the first to say I have nothing against sidewalks. I walk as much as I can. That's just who I am. What I do have a problem with is the government telling private citizens they've got to dish out extra dough to build the sidewalks themselves, because that is a public utility. A person doesn't, I don't own the sidewalk out in front of my house. If I did, I would stop these school children from tossing potato chip bags into my yard. But we don't own the sidewalk in front of our homes. Well, Beacon had a problem with it because of that. And we partnered up with another legal organization, sued the city of Nashville, and honey, we won. And it only gets better from there, because just this week, and Mark, I'll let you go into the technical aspects of it, but just this week, Metro Council, in the wake of our win, decided that they were going to pay out settlements to people who had to pay into or were penalized for not building sidewalks under this law, because the law is now unconstitutional. Mark, what are the details of this?
Well, first of all, they were legally required to pay out settlements. It's not like they decided from the good of their hearts that they wanted to pay them out.
Yeah,
because
but getting Metro Council to do the right thing is tough. So they agreed to it, maybe begrudgingly, but they did agree to it.
Yeah, I mean, they had to follow the law and the ruling. So I mean, they were legally required to do so.
When have they ever followed the law?
Yeah, and the thing is, they didn't follow the law in the first place, and it actually is kind of insane that some people, including a newly elected vice mayor, were kind of doubling down on what they did, even though they knew it was illegal and unconstitutional. It's crazy. But yeah, and I mean, outside of what you said too, it's not just that you're being forced to build sidewalks. in some instances, you're being forced to subsidize other people. Like if you put some, like, you don't even have to build a sidewalk there. You have to put money into a whatever, some kind of thing, and they use it for other people's sidewalks. But maybe people should be forced to build sidewalks, and we have to pay no taxes. How's that? If you want to force people to build sidewalks, then don't tax anybody, because obviously your government's not doing their job. Yeah,
I'm in.
And if you don't want a sidewalk, you still have to build one. But it was a big win, and the clients that we worked on with Southeastern Legal, and we got to give a shout out to Braden Busek, who worked at Beacon.
Yeah.
He was kind of the guy who filed that for us. He actually moved to Southeastern Legal and started working the case through them. So it was great for him. But the city had to pay out our clients, and they received, I think, over $200,000. So it was a lot of money. And it's interesting, they also paid people whose cases were pending, so that the court had not decided yet, because it is unlikely to yield a positive outcome for Metro, which means they know now what they did was clearly illegal. I guess they never thought, even though we told them beforehand, hey, don't do this, it is illegal. They did it anyway. They choose not to listen to any reason. But it's nice when the good guys win. Now, let's talk about the bad things when the good guys win. That we won. It's awesome. It's great for everyone. Guess who is paying out these people? Nashville taxpayers, because the city council chose not to listen to reason. They went ahead and passed an unconstitutional law they knew wasn't, or they just assumed that nobody's going to challenge them on it. And it makes you say, hey, listen, you need to do better, government. You can't just pass these things that are blatantly illegal, blatantly unconstitutional, and expect that it's okay. Because guess what? This money is not coming out of the city council's pockets. They're not having to pay individual ones. Maybe they should. Maybe every individual council member who voted for it should pay money out of their pocket.
Maybe we should implement that. That might work nicely.
It's just because it had a happy outcome that way. Guess what? Taxpayers are still paying for this, and they should be holding these people accountable, and they should be saying this was not okay. This is money coming out of our thing. We keep talking about how Nashville has no money. They want to do all these things. Well, part of the reason they have no money is because they just keep passing unconstitutional laws, and they have to pay people for it. So please stop doing it. If you have any questions on future laws, City Council of Nashville, let us know. We'll help you with it. Yeah, we'll tell you, hey, this is not good. You cannot do this. You would figure after the Airbnb law, they might give us a little bit of credit, but they don't care. They just don't care.
They don't care. I've said it. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. We yearn for the day where Beacon is no longer needed and Mark and I are out of jobs. Okay. We want Tennessee to be a place where we're not needed. Sad truth is we are. And so that's what we do. And we're going to keep an eye on Nashville, because I know that for so many people that we talked to didn't even know this law existed until they were slapped with it in the face after they'd already started their projects. So we're here to keep an eye on things, but we also need help. There's 13 of us and there's millions of you guys. So if something's happening, if you're slapped with something from Metro Council or the state and that doesn't make any sense at all, and you don't know, and you think it's not really passing the smell test, give us a call, shoot me an email. We'd love to talk with you about it and see if there's anything that we can do to help you out, because we are here as a watchdog.
And one more thing, let's remember, we did this all for free. That is one thing people don't realize. Because of our great supporters and everything, we represent people who are basically where the government steps on their rights. We do it at no charge to us. So if you want to donate, to them. Correct. It is a charge to us. But if you'd like to donate to us, you go to beacontn.org and donate to help us continue doing this work. I think it's the first ever, development plug we've done.
We're making a pitch.
Yes. So Jamie should be happy with us.
Yeah, Jamie will be happy with us. Yeah, that's a really good point, Mark. None of what we do, like this podcast, nothing, we don't get ads. We're not sponsored or anything. We represent our legal clients. When we go up and advocate at the Capitol, we're not like lobbyists for hire or anything. We work strictly on principle. The same thing works with our legal cases. So if you believe in what we do and you love what we do, the same way that we love what we do, we would love for you to join the Beacon family and become a supporter. So that's our pitch. Moving on to a topic that I actually missed on social media, and I don't know how I missed it after reading the news articles, because I'm kind of a social media girly, like not that much. I've locked it down quite a bit, but I'm a music girly. And I don't know how I've missed this, but if you have not heard the name Oliver Anthony, Google him right now. Pause our podcast, Google him, and look up his song, because he's got this song. What is it called?
It's the Rich Men of Richmond.
Rich Men of North Richmond. So
yeah.
So this song is just a man with a beard playing a stringed instrument in the woods. And it has gotten so many bajillions of views, hundreds of thousands of downloads, surpassing my queen, my savior, Taylor Swift, on the iTunes charts. Because and I'll bring this back, but if you remember several years ago, several at this point, JD Vance wrote the book Hillbilly Elegy about his very rural family and their values of hard work and why they felt like the government left them and whatnot. And it was an instant overnight sensation. Everyone that I know, I think, read this book. Fast forward, it's probably been 8 years now. This song comes out, and it's a testament to the fact that the working class still feels ignored by people in DC who don't listen to them and focus on things that don't affect them. I was watching, and I'll get to you in a second, Mark, but I was watching a TikTok video, and I know you've seen it, Mark, but a man who is a Bernie Sanders supporter and he's a social media influencer went to a Trump rally and was asking people outside, why are you here? What are your issues, and why, what drove you to be here today? And all of the issues that they were saying, this Bernie Sanders supporter also said, these are my issues too. And we can have a much longer discussion about this. We could probably talk for hours and hours and hours on end about this. But my thesis that I would like to run by you, Mark, is no matter where you land politically, if you think that something needs to be fixed using a government shrinking solution or a government growing solution, we've all got the same set of problems. And so if we're all dealing with the same things and we're all walking through the same crap every single day, feeling ignored, feeling like the government cares about the climate, not that I'm getting my trash picked up, whatever it is, why are we not talking to each other and working together on everything? I mean, this song has gotten so many more plays, and given it's catering more toward a conservative audience at this point, but there have been left-leaning people who've come out and said, this hits. This is landing with my people. I don't know. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I agree completely. And I think that the fact that kind of both sides are trying to claim this song is like, or at least like, oh, he's talking about the liberal politicians in DC. And they're like, oh, no, he's talking about people like Trump and people who have a bunch of money who like control the system. So it's, it really is and it's not clearly political. And seriously, this is like the biggest. I don't think I've ever seen a song like this since like Gangnam Style came out, where something just came out of nowhere and then it was literally everywhere. There's also a hilarious Babylon Bee thing. It said, country music industry confused by man actually from the country making actual music. So kind of like this idea that, country music
that lands.
Yeah, but it really is this like phenomenal song. It's just kind of like what you said. It's what everybody has been feeling no matter where you're at. And I've said for, a long time, I think with a very few exceptions, that we all want the same problem solved. The way to get there is different. And that's why, I mean, and I think that we've had divisive personalities on both sides of the aisle who have, been the heads of parties. And I think that's made things hard because normal everyday people can still talk about this and say, yeah, we agree on these problems. We can talk. But I feel like the divisiveness that's come in the political system has made it so much harder to have these discussions. And I feel like it's made America worse because I hear people like, my parents or, whatever, like, oh yeah, like I know, a bunch of Republicans who voted for JFK. JFK was the guy there, I know, Democrats who voted for George W. Bush, Republicans who voted for Barack Obama. Like, and there was this kind of sense of, and things have gone downhill since then. I think things started downhill in the 2000s, but I think this song just goes back to speaking to the fact that we have a lot more in common than we have apart. And you hear a song like this, and the fact that both sides can take out something they think, oh, this is talking about what we believe in, and like they agree with it. And truthfully, outside of all of the political things, and I don't know what side this guy is on. I have no idea who he agrees with politically. He has not made that clear. But what he sings about, in my opinion, is the reason that Trump won the first time. These issues of people feeling forgotten, middle class, lower middle class people feeling forgotten is one of the reasons that Trump won in the first place. and then he,
I
whatever.
agree.
We don't have to talk about outside, but like, and that's something that, Obama tried to appeal to. And that now, when the candidates are running for office, I think Joe Biden and Donald Trump, if they are the nominees, are both going to appeal to this group of people who just feels like they have been left behind. I think it's almost all the middle class where it feels like no matter what you believe the solution is, that the rich people are getting ahead and that middle and lower class people are just being left behind.
I was about to say they're going to appeal to this class of people because it is the largest swath of the population, easily. It's almost all of us that feel like, why isn't the government paying attention to my issues? And that's why Beacon does what we do with the polling, and we did the listening tour and the focus groups, because we do acknowledge, and we also feel like a lot of the things that the government focuses on don't align with what we think is important and what we want. So we do a gut check and poll everybody and ask how you guys are feeling about things and what you guys think are important, because we don't want to be just like that. We want to be better than that. And that's what motivates us. So I would hope that politicians would start to listen. I don't know if they will, and I don't know if that's a popular thing to do, but one would hope that they do. But either way, it's really cool to see something like this that's not overtly political, but it is political, get such a huge spotlight in pop culture and get people talking. We just want people to talk about it.
Yeah, that's what you said last is correct. It's like, it doesn't matter. I don't think politicians need to do anything. I don't think he's talking about any solutions. It's about having discussions. And it's about saying, just because you like Trump, you like Bernie Sanders, you like Joe Biden, doesn't mean that you can't have conversations. And I feel like that's the biggest takeaway from this. You can still disagree on issues, but it's like, listen, we want the same things. How do we get there? Is there a compromise? Maybe there's not, but we can at least respect that we have differences of opinions. It doesn't mean that, you're a whatever, you're Antifa, or you're, alt-right because you might like somebody different. I mean, we can still have these conversations, and there is people that are crazy. But in my opinion, it's like literally 5 to 10% of the population that are so far, and they don't care.
Much.
Most people,
they're just super loud.
exactly, and they're all on Twitter, it seems like. But
yes, on X. Yeah, it's X now.
X. I apologize. But yeah, it's a good reminder. Like we should be coming together more as a country, because there's a reason this song resonated with so many different people from so many different walks of life, from different areas, different, demographic, geographic, and just different political views. And it hit with all of them. And I think that's something that we should be happy about.
It's something to take notice of. And if politicians aren't taking notice, honey, you should. Switching gears dramatically to something that kind of shocked my system recently. So The Blindside was my favorite movie when it came out. I bought a white toy watch. Rather, my mom bought me a white toy watch like Sandra Bullock wore in the movie. I watched the movie and then I read the book when I went on vacation in Hawaii that summer. I was completely taken by this story. And now to see what's happening, I don't know how many more of these conservatorships I can handle after Britney Spears and now this. I think my little system can't handle much more of this conservatorship news. I just don't know what to make of it. I think that's where I'm confused, is because part of me genuinely thinks that the Tuohys did what they thought was right for Michael, but now Michael's saying I was a cash cow to them and they just took advantage of that. Even the Sun has spoken out and said we all knew that this was going to happen. We just didn't want it to happen in a public way. I think I'm just sad for everybody, because it's one of those situations that you look at and you think, did this really have to be this way? Across the board, did it have to be this way? Did Michael still have to be under this type of agreement? Did it have to be exposed in the press like this? I don't know. It makes me sad, Mark. I don't really know what to think, but I do think it makes me really sad.
The one thing I definitely know is that the stupid people online who are trashing Sandra Bullock for playing her in a movie are the worst. Are you kidding me? I know. And she's getting so much hate. It's she played a movie character. Shut up. I don't care what you believe.
Someone said, no, I saw things online that were she should give up her Oscar for that. No, she shouldn't.
Oh my gosh.
That's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But yes, we can agree on that. The rest of it, I'm confused and it makes me sad, but I do know that one day the Netflix documentary is going to be great. Anyway, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I don't have a clear idea of what happened. the idea that, Michael Orr tried to essentially shake them down for, I think, like $15 million before he went to the press, it seems like maybe, I don't know what his motivation was. It also, I know that some of the facts that he said were not great. I know there's a couple lawyers that basically said, yeah, I'm not going to take your case on because you don't have anything. And he basically found a lawyer who's willing to do that. My opinion from what I've read is that, Michael Orr is in need of money, and this was a way for him to do it. The family was already really rich. Now, I'm not saying that every aspect of the movie was correct. It probably was. And anytime they do that, they exaggerate. But this family is already very, very wealthy, at least from what they said. Now, I think it's going to be recorded that they gave him, he said he made no money from the movie. They said they gave him they put it in his account, half of whatever that happened.
I saw that
even when he criticized them. So if they can prove that, which it should be really easy to prove. It's like, had they put money in his account? If they can prove that, I think his claims are total BS. And, I think it'd be weird for them to say that and just lie outright because, like, they know that they can have, like, there's going to be clear proof of evidence if you're right or wrong.
Right.
So it seems like a cash grab for Mike Orr, to be honest, or like him trying to get back in the news. I don't know what happened. I think he had a really tough childhood. So it's like you give some of those people grace. But my opinion at this point is that it is just for him to get money, and the fact that he asked them for like 15 million first is the reason why I think that.
That's what I was kind of worried about when I first saw it, was because you don't want somebody to be in a situation where they have to go to extreme means for money. You never want to see that. My worry was that he was accustomed to a certain type of lifestyle. He's no longer in the NFL. He's not really in the media anymore. I don't even see him do like brand endorsement deals on Instagram, which is what everyone else does when they retire from reality TV or professional sports. And so that was my concern, was that the funds dried up and he needed the money. Now, I hate it for him and I hate it for the Tuohys that all of America is watching this. I don't know if that's what he wanted, but I think that in the future, I read an article once, and this is kind of tangential, but I read an article once by Ronald Reagan's daughter about regretting blasting him in the press. 30 years after she did it, she regretted blasting him in the press. She knew that that was not the right way to go. My concern is that he's either going to get exactly what he wants or he's not going to get what he wants, but the damage will be done with the people that really tried to help him. That's what makes me so sad, whether this is a cash grab or not, is the regrets down the road of the damage that was done. That makes me so sad.
Yeah, and obviously, like, it's very clear from that movie, or at least, it's part of it was true. It's like he's had a really tough life. I think that, he was an NFL bust. Like, he was supposed to be a pretty good NFL player, and he was not in the league that long. I don't think it's hard for any of those people who are like so highly touted. He was on this pedestal because of this movie. And for him really not to be a very good NFL player and be out of the league, in a couple years, I just think that mentally that probably takes a toll on you. And not that I'm excusing this if what he's saying is a lie. And it's also important that when you read these stories, because the first stories that came out were, the Tuohys are bad people. Like, all the media said that. Like, they didn't wait for anything else. Just because anybody can sue anybody. Like, that's all that happened. So I would really urge the media and everyone to be like, okay, let's take a step back and see how this is. And now this idea that other people are like, the Tuohys were, if that's how you pronounce their name, were right, he's a liar. Like, we don't know that for sure either. So, like, when you do something let's wait till it plays out. It's obviously either going to go to court or whatever. It's just a sad situation. And, and honestly, if I'm the Tuohys and everything they said is true, I'm definitely not settled, because then, people, whether fair or not, when you settle, they think you're lying. They think that you did that.
Yeah. Court of public opinion says you lose when you settle.
Yep.
So that's tough.
It is.
And I wouldn't want that for them. But regardless of what is true and what is not, it will all come out. The truth always comes out. It's like the C.S. Lewis quote, "The truth is like a lion. Whoever heard of defending a lion, set it loose and it'll defend itself." That's the truth. That's like one of my favorite quotes ever. It's by C.S. Lewis. Look it up. But the truth is like a lion. It'll defend itself. So I do hope that everyone in the situation can sleep at night, because it feels like this is going to be a bigger emotional fight than financial fight. Speaking of fighting, before we go, Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk are not going to face off in a cage fight. Okay. I was looking forward to it, saving my pennies for pay-per-view. I wanted to see this thing just as much as anybody else did. Facebook is coming out with Threads because they want a Twitter alternative. Elon Musk talks a real big game, challenge Zuckerberg to a cage fight. It's not going to happen. But it does make a girl think, who would I like to see in a cage fight? And I've got a few. Mark, you got any people, any celebrities you would like to see face off? Because I've got a Vanderpump one and then a regular one.
Well, I want to see, I guess I don't want to see them face off, but like Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump would have been fun back in the day. I guess not actually fight, but their feud was so
sick.
much fun. Also, for what it's worth,
That would be awesome.
Elon Musk probably would have gotten just destroyed. Mark Zuckerberg is completely jacked now. He is huge and he's been training. Like, it feels like Elon Musk is just, maybe I don't know something about him, but it seems like he's just doing that for like publicity, knowing he was never going to actually do the fight.
I think so
yeah,
he could never.
I want to bring something else up, but tell me about what Vanderpump fight would you want to see?
Okay, I either want to see Andy Cohen put the smackdown on Tom Sandoval, or I want to see James and Sandoval go at it. I would put James and Sandoval in a cage fight, or Jax and Sandoval. Basically, I just want someone to cage fight Sandoval and leave him crying in the corner the way he cried at Lisa's. Like, I just want to see someone do it. I think that Jax would have a better shot against him. I think James would be funnier and have more anger. And I think that Andy hates Sandoval. So, like, I just basically want to see somebody just put the smack down on Sandoval.
Well, first of all, Jax would murder Sandoval. He is a big dude. And, like, that wouldn't even be close. I think James and Sandoval would actually be a really fun, equal fight. Where it's like, James gets so mad, but I can't imagine he knows how to fight. And Sandoval's, like, a little bit stronger, but, like, also, he's a little bit more, like, tone.
Maybe physically, but not emotionally.
No, correct. But like that, yeah, exactly. And I think Andy would probably win. Andy's pretty, like, I think kind of secretly jacked, not like super jacked, but I think he would probably win. But those are all good ones. And
I know. That's what I would want to see.
Have you heard about this? By the way, I don't know if you know this. My sister says to me, this new villains show that they're doing, this reality show with villains.
With Jax? Well, yes, obviously I'm going to be watching it.
But not Jax. Like a million other great people. I Love New York from I Love New York's on it, which is like going to blow my mind.
No, I know.
A couple people from like 90 Day Fiancé are on it. It's going to be incredible.
Blake and I are fully committed to Jax. We love Jax. So we will be watching. We will be watching for Jax. I can promise you that. But it looks incredible.
I'm watching for New York. I gotta be honest. I like New York more than
you do. Love New York,
and all the 90 Day Fiancé. And like, there's so many villains in there. Like, and I love all of them. And I like all the comments were like, New York's not a villain. She's my queen. Like, there's a hilarious bunch of things. Like, it's a bunch of people who are so interesting on reality TV. And like, I never watched Survivor, but like Johnny Fairplay, I guess, is an interesting. Do you watch
Johnny
it, right?
Fairplay's on it.
Yes. So it's people that like.
He's the one who. Okay, Mark. He's the one who faked the death in his family to get his loved one to be able to come to the island, and then it was like a whole lie. But he was just being selfish. That's Johnny Fairplay.
I see. I never really.
That's him.
And Corinne from The Bachelor, I know is a big one.
Oh,
and then
she was horrible with her nanny.
I know, and I love Shake. Shake from Love Is Blind is on it, who was like one of the worst people. Like one of the worst people. Oh, awful.
I forgot about him. Oh, he was horrible. He fat shamed his fiance.
Oh,
he was horrible.
I mean, he was way worse than that. He did a lot of things. Like he was a horrible person. And then like Omarosa, who was in Trump's administration. Like this is a star-studded cast. I knew you didn't see the whole cast because like you would have been more excited other than just Jax. There is so many good people in this.
Okay, I will be watching this, but before we go, I want to say my last cage fight. I would want to see Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian. And I got that idea from an episode of Watch What Happens Live. Andy Cohen asked Kim Kardashian, "Are you and Taylor Swift still beefing following all the Kanye stuff?" And she said, "No, we've squashed it." And I'm like, if y'all faced off, y'all hadn't squashed it. Kim's vindictive, Taylor's vindictive, Clash of the Titans.
Kim Kardashian,
two women who I love.
Kim Kardashian would murder her. Taylor Swift's like she's like 60 pounds.
That's
and like,
true.
I don't think she would be probably the worst fighter of anybody I could think of. Kim Kardashian would crush her.
Oh, it'd be entertaining though. It would be so entertaining.
It would be over in 5 seconds.
Getting her nails removed before she goes into the ring. I think it would be hilarious.
I feel like Kim Kardashian. She's kind of like, I think she's kind of like gritty. Like, I feel like, you know, I don't know. I think she has to deal with a lot of stuff. Like, I think it would be 10 seconds. And Taylor Swift would probably go down before she even touched her because she was so scared.
Well, who would you want to see? Other than James and Sandoval.
Well, I guess I don't want people to fight as much as you do. No, most of mine are like, no, most of mine are like sports people. Like, I'd like to see Charles Barkley fight like Dwight Howard. I think that'd be a fun thing. Just because like people who
That
hate
would be really good.
and like just people who kind of beef on the basketball. Like, I like to see them actually fight.
Yes.
Like
Okay, that would
Kanye and like maybe like Ray J. Like that would be a fun fight.
Oh, that would be really good. The Battle of Kim Kardashian's exes. That would be a really good one too. Man, we should this could be our $1 million
Start a
idea,
fight
Mark.
ring.
Celebrity cage fighting.
I'm pretty
Well,
sure there's a
you
show
like a
called
television show.
There's a show called
Fight Club?
Celebrity Deathmatch was the actual show. Remember all those like animated? Wait, it was like all the animated like MTV show or like animated fake like people in clay celebrities fought each other. Oh yeah, that's a huge MTV show.
Of this. I wasn't allowed to watch MTV as a child, or a teenager. So
I wasn't
have no
either,
memory
but
of this.
and I got honestly, it was like early on in my life, like 6, 7. So you were probably like 3 at that point. But no, that was a huge deal. You should look up Celebrity Deathmatch. You used to be able to play the game online where they just like Mike Tyson. It was a fun show.
We woke up and chose violence today, so before things go any further, we should go. Guys, this has been Decaf, a production of the Beacon Center of Tennessee. Please pardon our tangents. If you like what you hear, or even if you don't, it changes every week. So you should subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and check us out at beacontn.org if you haven't already. We'll see you next week.